Hello there, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We have an amazing guest with us today who goes by the name of Matt Stevens. Who is Matt? I'm going to tell you right now. Matt has consulted with schools and community-based institutions across the country in the area of career development. He has been recognized as a leader in educational, business, and government sectors for his work with teenagers in the area of college and career preparation. He has designed and coordinated extended school day programs focused on workforce readiness for Rutgers University, St. Peter's University, and Kean University. These programs provided services to high schools and college students. All right. So, hey, Matt, how you doing today?
Hey, Imani, thanks so much for inviting me out. I'm so excited about being here today and looking forward to talking with you.
Right on, right on. How about we get right into it? What made you decide to create W2W, which, by the way, you guys stands for Welcome to Work? What made you decide to create that?
Well, I have been seeing that a lot of the young people that I work with, I'm in the business of mentoring. A lot of them, once we were able to connect them with mentors, what we found is that they still lacked the ability to get and keep jobs. And our theory is that a job is actually the best mentor in the world. And so I created Welcome to Work to just do that, help young people get a real welcome to work.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And how many teens have you mentored thus far?
I started mentoring quite some time ago.
Okay, okay.
We do mentor programs throughout the country. Once a year,
Nice.
we do a conference at Rutgers University, and each year we've been doing it for 10 years. So each year, 500 young men come to the conference. So about 5,000 boys in the last 10 years we've directly impacted through conferences, job employment, those type of things.
That's phenomenal. You guys, he said 5,000 young men he has directly impacted because of Welcome to Work. That's phenomenal, by the way. And a lot of the times people think that they can't be a part of the change in the world. And here you come. You said, look, in the last 10 years, we've mentored 5,000. And I'm pretty sure in less than 10 years, you're about to mentor 5,000 and then some more. So that's phenomenal. So let me ask you this. What was one of the most significant moments during one of these sessions that you've had, maybe with a particular student, maybe with a particular parent, maybe with a particular session? What was one of the most significant moments? Like what happened? Walk us through that.
Well, I mean, we've been mentoring. We do so much. Some of the ones I can kind of think of are when the young men finally get it. Usually during the session is not when you really get it. When you really get it is that when you see them in the street years later. So now I'm running into young men who are really doing great work. Matter of fact, there's a young man who works at a school that I consult with. He is actually a father now. And his son is going to college. I started mentoring him in the 80s. His name is Jamal Cooper. And what was phenomenal about his situation is that he was a real knucklehead in the seventh grade. And his auntie came up and asked if he could be in our mentor program. We start working with him. We stayed with him throughout middle school, throughout high school. And by the grace of God and his hard work, he was able to graduate high school, go to college, graduate college, come back to the community. Now he's the head basketball coach. And the other day, we were giving bicycles away to the school where he's coaching at. And I can remember him getting a bike in the 80s. Now he's giving the bikes away. So it all comes full circle working in this mentor space. And I just owe it to my elders who have paved the way for me so that I can pave the way for these young people coming through.
Oh my God. That's phenomenal. I mean that like makes me almost like want to like, be emotional because that's so beautiful. So I don't know how you're not crying, but I think that's amazing because you just reminded me of how I grew up and those that have mentored me and how I'm also helping in my community in different ways and how they once they get a cell phone, they find me on social media. And so it's like, okay, let me make sure we keep the, the good example going. But to see your kids now helping the kids. I mean, that's amazing. I love seeing that. That's absolutely beautiful. So what was maybe one of the funniest moments during maybe getting started or during the actual, like, what you got going on now? What's one of those funniest moments that you've experienced thus far?
Some of the funniest moments really kind of come when you take the boys out of their environment and you see how they kind of react. Most of the boys are from the inner city, and we always take them once a year. We take them on a retreat. It's a boys to men retreat where men in my fraternity take the boys to the different wooded area. And for some of them, they've never heard crickets, so they didn't know what crickets were. And If you've ever spent 10 hours with 25 teenage boys, by the time 8, 9 o'clock come, you're ready for them to go to sleep. And so if you know anything about boys, they're always adventurous. And so they always want to run around. And so when you tell them to go to sleep, they don't really want to go to sleep. So the funniest moment I had, because remember telling them that the crickets were actually bears, and that if they ran out, if they left the cabin, they'd have to deal with them. And so we left the cabin, went to the adults cabin. We came back in the morning, they were shivering like, what's going on, Mr. Stephen? So later in life, they found out that it was, what a cricket actually was. And that had to be the funniest moment when they kind of compared the cricket to the bear. But for them, they stayed their little butts in that cabin that night.
That's hilarious. I could just imagine a conversation that they had, as a teenager, as they got older and everything like that. Like, oh, hold up a second, Ma, there might be a bear in the backyard. That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. So what's coming up next? I would love for you to share what you got going on. Like, what does Soft Skills Matter? Tell us about that, please.
Well, Soft Skills Matter is a book that I wrote really designed to provide young people with concrete examples of how to react and behave in the workforce environment. Research shows that the majority of teenagers, 90% of teenagers who lose their job, lose it not because of something they were unable to do through a specific skill, but it was based on their attitude and their behavior that really let them put them in a bad situation where they couldn't be employed any longer. And so what we decided to do was to create a series of case studies and role-playing activities where we put them in live situations and then ask them, what would you do and why? And what we find out is young people, like every other person on the planet, simply can't know what they don't know. And so they're, in a lot of cases, they are only reacting to the way they know how to react. Take, for example, if you are a young person and you're working at a job and your supervisor is a pushy type of person and that person's in a rush, and they say to you something like, well, listen, Amani, I need you to take these papers, go to the copy room. I want them collated and stapled. I want 100 copies and hurry up because I need that in 5 minutes. And when you get the paper, you recognize that you don't know what collated means. And so you feel embarrassed to ask the question, well, what do you mean by collated? Because you've seen in previous times that the supervisor is a little short-tempered and he thinks you should already know those type of things. Yeah. So it leaves the young person in a situation where they just don't know what to do. And so what we recognize is that we can show them what to do by giving them examples, and they learn by example. And that's what Soft Skills Matter is all about.
That's so beautiful, because as you were saying that, it reminds everyone how imperative it is to, when you get something, even on your way to getting something, preparation matters. And it's okay to be like, you know what, I don't know this, and find the people who do know. Because when you do that, it's like, you know what, let me just go through this uncomfortable phase, learn this new skill, because that's going to help me long term with what it is that I really want. And for these teens, whether it's a pair of Jordans, the PS5, what Fortnite, Roblox, all the stuff that, they just talking about the newest thing that they absolutely love. These are the things that will actually help them get there. So, because you said you're going to get the job and you're going to keep the job. So, Matt, if you could tell the parents, if you could tell the teens that may be listening now, what is the number one skill or a number one skill that they can learn today that can help them in the long term?
Well, what we really encourage parents to do is to really talk to their children and provide examples about financial literacy, because keeping a job is important, but also keeping your money is really important. So in Soft Skills Matters, what we do is we provide examples of take for example credit cards. If a young person was able to get a credit card in high school, the parents would co-sign for the credit card, and all they would buy with the credit card is things that they need, like school supplies and school outfits and things of that nature, which they know they're going to pay back within 30 days. That builds their credit. So by the time they get out of high school, get out of college, they graduate college with an 800 credit score. And that is more important than anything, because in these days, employers are actually looking at your credit. And so
Oh,
to keep
wow.
your job, to get a job, particularly like in the banking industry or in industries where your decision making and your that comes into play,
Yeah.
employers look at your credit score. And so we would like for the young people to have a credit score, but for the credit score to be high. And it can be done by teaching them as soon as they get their first job how to manage credit. And we focus on a bunch of different strategies, but we definitely don't believe that the kids should be taught to use the debit card. We believe that they should be taught how to use the credit card effectively and spend other people's money, and then just pay that money back.
Mm, that OPM, yes. Because the banks, they end up using everybody's money to invest with later on, and that what you just said is so on point. And I did not know that they're checking credit scores out here now, but that is wow. And so probably I could totally see that being the standard within the next maybe even 10 years, because that would separate a whole lot of people. Wow, wow. So you guys, I need you to understand that what Matt has created is even that more imperative, it's even that more important with inflation, with everything that's going on and everything that's changing, cryptocurrency, NFTs, all that stuff. If the babies don't know how to properly spend, they're just going to end up in debt like a lot of us did, because we didn't have that financial literacy. And part of being and creating generational wealth is to go through those, go through those situations and learn those skills. And yeah, that's amazing. So Matt, one more question. Actually, no, two more questions, but let's ask this. You have a mentorship thing coming up, right? Can you tell us about that, please? We would love
Sure.
to know.
I work with young people in a variety of different capacities. One of the things I do with mentoring is through my fraternity, the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. And what we're doing in that area is we are adopting different programs. And so versus trying to go out and create a mentor program where we go and search for the kids, we go where the kids are. So we're working with the East Orange Public Schools, the Orange Public Schools, and the East Orange YMCA. We've adopted those schools, and we go to those schools during the lunchtime, during after school time, and during the weekends to participate in what they're already doing. So we may do career exploration activities. We may do basketball. Sometimes we have the college kids kind of come out and talk to them about being college students, or showing them a little bit about stepping or things of that nature. And then just
Okay.
helping them to kind of get a feel for what the next step is in whatever area they're in. Because we're mentoring kids from the ages of 10 to 18. And then we're also mentoring the college kids. But what we do with the college kids is we pay them to help us mentor the high school and the elementary school kids, because they can help us kind of run around and kind of chase them. But they also know like all of the stuff that the kids are involved in. Like I don't know who Little Uzi is, or any of the other new
Don't know
rappers
either.
that are out here today. but the college kids do. And so the college kids can kind of relate to some of the stuff that the eighth grader is kind of going through a little more than a 55-year-old guy can do. And so those are some of the things that we're doing. And then Welcome to Work is working with the various cities to help in providing workforce development for their summer programs.
Oh my God. When you said stepping, instantly I wanted to be like theta nu theta, TNT. I love it. And not only are you helping them develop the skills, you're helping them get the job so that they can keep the job. You are also helping them actually have a job too by creating jobs within what it is that you do all throughout. That's an amazing nonprofit, sir. I applaud you. I support you. I love it. And my last question to you is, how can people learn more? Where can they go? How can they reach you, contact you, so that they can go on ahead and get their children enrolled, so that they can go ahead, get the job, keep the job, and rock it out and buy as many Jordans as they want?
Well, they can go to our brand new website created by Miss Imani Allen. And our website is www.welcometowork.org. That's welcome, the number 2, work.org. Our phone number is 973-820-8999. And my email address is my name, matt.stevens1@me.com.
That's amazing. That's amazing, Matt. I'm so excited for what's in store. God has had his hands over you, and like the connection it's so divine. I'm just excited. You know me, I'm like the Energizer Bunny over here, not get lit. But it's great what you're doing, because a lot of the times people don't know what's going on. But now that we are able to connect, especially within the internet world, now people can know that they have more options out here, that they have something that can help them, that they can change the trajectory of their families, that they can empower their kids. And it's because of people like you. And I appreciate you. I've got kids in my life, and I'm like, shoot, when that time comes, look, don't be asking big cousin for no money. Nope, here you go. Go see Mr. Matt. He gonna take care of you. He gonna help you get and keep that job, because you gotta go ahead and rock it out and learn. So thank you so much, Matt. We appreciate you. And you guys, he said welcome to work.org. That's welcome, the number 2, work.org. And you can also donate. Please do, because I know that he's working on making sure that 1,000 boys get this book, so that they can go on ahead and get their bag and, secure it and everything like that. So thank you so much for being here, Matt. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much, and good luck, and happy holidays.
Happy holidays. All right, you guys, have a phenomenal one. And until next time, have a phenomenal day. All right.